Great, we are good to go now. now. Okay, so today we are blessed to have another expert to grace this weekend health talk. I have my brother, senior dietitian trained in Kolibu. He's the head of the dietherapy unit at Esikado Hospital. He's a young man, vibrant, very well learned and experienced. This young man lives his talk, all right? He walks his talk. He's a member. I want to get everything right, okay? I want to get the full, every detail right, okay? I want to get a detail. He's a member, Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. He's a member. And he's a member of Allied Health Professionals Council. Please, it's with great joy that I want to welcome Mr. David Kwame Tufo, our senior dietitian, to share with us on the topic preventive health, a dietitian's perspective. He's going to approach it from our eating habits and cardiovascular health. David, over to you.
Thank you very much. It's a warm pleasure to have all of you here on this call. If you can hear me loud and clear, I want to know everybody under my voice here can hear me loud and clear. If you can hear me, please type in the comment section clear. Fantastic. All right. So we have just a short time to do this, and without wasting much time, we'll just dive right into it. The topic for this presentation is preventive health, the dietitian's perspective. Preventive health, the dietitian's perspective. All right. So many a time, you know, people talk about going to the hospital, you know, getting all the treatment they can get from the hospital. Now, I'm trying to show you another angle which you want to, or you may want to look at, and that is preventive healthcare. All right. So preventive healthcare basically is to avoid or prevent the condition or the disease from happening in the first place, so that we may not need to treat it, or also to delay the onset of the disease. Dr. Sedia, can I see the first slide? Are we all on the same page? Can we all see the first slide? If the answer is yes, let's put it in the chat box. Yes, I can see the first slide. Yes, please type yes if you can all see this first slide. Okay, so everybody but myself cannot see the first slide. Anyways, I'll just open from my end here so that we continue with it. All right. Okay, so like I said, when you talk about preventive healthcare, basically, what is it? When we say preventive healthcare, what are we talking about? We are talking about the use of a recognized proactive health screening, counseling, and maintenance to prevent future illness and also possible treatment. Now, what are the benefits of preventive healthcare? Why am I here talking about preventive healthcare? Okay, preventive healthcare basically, it's a measure that saves insurance providers and patients from expensive healthcare costs in the long run, while providing a better patient outcome. So you and I, we can testify. A lot of us on this call, I'm sure we have one form of insurance package, health insurance package with all these health insurance service providers. And you know what happens when you go to them for refund, or for them to make payments for the services you've gone to seek from a health facility. Sometimes the payment is delayed, sometimes you're supposed to have a procedure and all of that, but these payments are not paid on time as promised. Now, if you can prevent this healthcare, if you can prevent these diseases, or the onset or delay the onset of these diseases, you're likely going to also have the opportunity to avoid paying any monies to these service providers or healthcare providers. Next slide, please. Also, the focus of preventive healthcare is that the preventable diseases we are talking about here and patient illness can be caught early, and to save the patient from suffering all the resulting conditions, all the symptoms that comes with it. Okay, so still on the benefit, you avoid, you prevent, or you delay the onset of possible non-communicable disease or the other. I'm going to talk about non-communicable diseases later into more details. Also, it reduces, as part of the benefits of preventive healthcare, it reduces the cost of lengthy management of a disease. Okay, and then the final one is improves the quality of life. So generally, if you are into preventive healthcare, your quality of life is going to be improved. Next slide, please. All right, so here are some conditions that require preventive healthcare. Here are some conditions that require preventive healthcare. We are talking about diabetes, hypertension, stroke, overweight and obesity, malnutrition, atherosclerosis. Okay, so this I put into one description as non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable. So this is what I meant by the non-communicable diseases. These ones are not diseases you can transfer from one person to the other, but you can have it as a result of your lifestyle, dietary lifestyle, and other lifestyle or behavioral activities over a long period of time. Okay, and that's why it's called chronic conditions. Next slide, please. All right, so under the non-communicable disease, you can have cardiovascular diseases. All right, so the cardiovascular diseases basically are diseases or group of disorders that affect the heart and blood vessels. So we're talking about, just to mention a few, hypertension, stroke, and atherosclerosis. Okay. Now, we've heard about cardiovascular system. We've heard about cardiovascular disease right now. Now, what is cardiovascular system? What is cardiovascular system? Basically, cardiovascular system is your heart and the blood vessels. As simple as that. The heart and the blood vessels. That forms the cardiovascular system. Now, the cardiovascular system can further be broken down into the tissues that run through these vessels. So you can have blood, okay, as part of the cardiovascular system. Okay, so these are tissues of the cardiovascular system. You can look at the diagram on the right-hand side. You can see a nice picture of the vessels and the blood itself running through the vessels. The other picture on the right is a picture of the heart. The blue lines are basically the veins, and the red ones are basically the arteries. Okay, so they transport blood. The heart pumps the blood, and the blood is transported through these vessels. Okay, so the vessels are like pipe tubes, just like Ghana Water Company supplies the whole of the country with water. It does the supply through pipes. Okay, so the blood vessels are basically the pipes. All right, next slide, please. Yeah, so there are some interesting data or information about cardiovascular disease. If you look at the chart on my right-hand side, you can see a very beautiful graph. You can see top of the graph, CVD, and that is to tell you cardiovascular disease is the #1 leading cause of death globally. Okay, it's the global cause of death, #1 on the chart, followed by cancer, followed by respiratory diseases, and then HIV. Now, cardiovascular diseases are often called or classified as a silent killer. Okay, it's because a lot of time people walk around with one form of cardiovascular disease or the other without even knowing a thing about it, until the unfortunate happens, and then they get to know that, oh, all this while I was hypertensive, or all this while I had this lipidemia, and so on and so forth. It is estimated that 17.7 million people died from cardiovascular disease in 2015. That is about 31% of all global death, and that is an extremely high value or high figure. Next slide, please. All right. So cardiovascular disease prevalence also bringing it to the African region. It is estimated that 20 million people in Africa had cardiovascular disease. Okay, and in Ghana, there is a perceived rise in the CVD cases that we see on in the hospitals and on daily basis. Okay, next slide. Okay, so enough of cardiovascular disease. Let's talk about the other non-communicable diseases. We have diabetes, overweight, and obesity. Okay, diabetes, overweight, obesity, and malnutrition. So when we say malnutrition, it can be overnutrition or undernutrition. Diabetes, also the prevalence and the numbers are very shocking over here. As at 1980, the number of people with diabetes rose up to 108 million people, from 108 million people to 422 million people in 2014. The prevalence has been rising more rapidly in low middle income countries like Ghana, and this is the case in most African countries here. This is also the case as compared to the higher income country. I know the cases are also on the rise there, but they've put in some preventive measures to help curtail the rise or the increase of prevalence of diabetes in these regions. Now, between 2000 and 2016, there was a 5% increase in premature mortality from diabetes. And in 2019, diabetes was the 9th leading cause of death, with an estimated 1.5 million deaths directly from the cause of this disease. Yes, as a clinician, I see a lot of these cases on the ward from OPD and other consulting rooms. And this is not a joke. A lot of you wouldn't know because you are not, in the health field. But those of us in the health field can testify to this. Now, here are some risk factors of these non-communicable diseases that I mentioned. So it is mostly found in individuals who eat unhealthy diet, and that we are going to learn a lot about. Also in people who are physically inactive. It is also found in people with high cholesterol and those who abuse alcohol. Okay, so here are the risk factors. Next slide, please. So here is the dietitian's view about preventive healthcare. What is it about preventive healthcare? Why is the dietitian so important in this? Basically, registered dietitians are clinical members of the healthcare team and are essential to delivering nutrition-focused preventive services in clinical and community settings, advocating for policy and programmatic initiatives, and leading research in disease prevention and health promotion. So if you meet a dietitian today, or if you see a dietitian today at a hospital, this is what he or she is likely going to do for you. He's going to use evidence-based practice to assess, diagnose, intervene, monitor, and evaluate your medical condition to improve an individual's health. And that is the reason why a dietitian is very important in preventive healthcare. Okay, so I talked about it. Dietitian will assess, will assess you to determine your nutrition status. So here is a quick view of some of the assessment tools that dietitian use to determine your nutritional status. As you can see from the diagram or the table, we have some nice BMI categorization and then its implications on nutritional status. Okay, so anything below 18.5, your BMI is basically your weight over your height, your weight divided by your height squared. Okay, so your height in meters. If you have checked your weight any time from now, any moment, please put your weight in the chat box, or you can just pick up your mobile phones and shift to the computer calculator section and do a quick calculation of your BMI. Okay, so your weight divided by your height. So your height in meters squared. For instance, if you are 106 centimeters, that will translate to 1.63 meters squared. So 1.63 times 1.63, that will be for the height section. All right. So do a quick calculation and you know where you fall. Next slide, please. The next picture shows us a beautiful diagram here. And this is also one thing that dietitian do to you to assess your nutritional status. If you look at the first picture on my left-hand side, the first item on my left-hand side, what do we see? Can you please put in the chat section? What's the difference between these two pictures? The difference between these two pictures. All right. So we can see that one person has some skin folds, okay, just beneath on the abdomen region or the belly button region. You can see some skin folds. And these are also nutrition focused physical exams that we do to determine your nutritional status. The other person on my right hand side does not have those skin folds. Another interesting feature I want to show you is just at the neck area. We can see a little at the chin area. We can see a little, we call it triple chin. Compared to the other one, there's nothing like that. All right. Okay. And the same for the male picture. The same thing. You can see the pot belly. Okay. You can see the person is slightly overweight or obese compared to the other person on the right. Next slide, please. Now, what do we do after we do our assessment and we pick up one form of an ailment, nutritional ailment? What do? We stage and first of all, we diagnose and then we stage an intervention, okay, for such a person. And all of these things, if you get to know early, can help you prevent the onset of these non-communicable diseases that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so the link between healthy eating and preventive healthcare is basically to delay, slow, or prevent the onset of this non-communicable disease. I'm sure we've all heard this statement: we are what we eat, and the food we consume provides both macro and micronutrients, all right, for the body. So the role of these nutrients ensures growth and normal function of life processes. However, the overconsumption of unhealthy diet over a period of time can be detrimental to our health and can lead to overweight, obesity, and dyslipidemia, diabetes, and so on. Next slide, please. This picture you see here, there's a picture of somebody who is consuming, I think, pizza with all the fries and all the sugar-sweetened beverages. And this is the lifestyle of people living in all over the world, rural, urban areas, all parts of the country. Now, these food service providers are getting to all parts of the country with their junk food. Okay, so if this becomes a lifestyle, for sure, you are looking at one form of non-communicable disease or the other. Healthy eating basically starts with making healthy food choices. Okay, it starts with making healthy food choices, and you have to learn to know what to look out for when you are shopping in the grocery shop, when you are eating at the restaurant or ordering food from the restaurant or at the workplace, and so on and so forth. Next slide, please. Now, a healthy diet can help prevent what we call the onset of non-communicable disease. And there are some categorizations of diets that we use to do that. We have the dietary approach to stop hypertension, popularly known as the DASH diet. We have the Mediterranean diet, the vegetarian diet, and so on and so forth. These are the few ones I'm going to touch on. The cornerstone here is to eat healthy, okay? And that real foods should replace processed foods. A lot of times people walk to the supermarket or grocery shops and pick up processed foods instead of real foods. Why would you pick fruit juice when you can have actual juice from the fruit itself, like orange itself? Why would you go for orange juice that has been processed into a Tetra Pak? All right, next slide, please. So here is a picture of the DASH diet as I described earlier on. We can see the categorizations. This diet basically preaches consumption of whole grains, more whole grains than anything, increasing the intake of fruits and vegetables about 4 to 5 servings, and then also minimizing the intake of fat and oil, salts, and then all the other good ingredients or components of food that are not too good, like the sweets, the carbonated soft drinks, and the rest. Next slide, please. The other one here we see is the Mediterranean diet, and it also says the same, okay? So it has a similarity with the DASH diet. The Mediterranean diet has a unique feature that incorporates the use of olive oil, olive oil as part of the meals. The next one here we have my plate. which is very simple, easy to understand. Okay, so if you look at the plate, next slide, please. If you look at the plate here, I'm talking about a pictorial view of a plate. Okay, so if you want to follow a healthy eating using the My Plate, it's a food-based dietary guideline for the United States of America. Okay, so what you do is if you put your plate in front of you, half of your plate should be filled with fruit and vegetables. Okay, fruits and vegetables should occupy half of your plate. All right, some food you cannot eat with fruits and vegetables. However, you can just have vegetables occupying half of the plate. The other half should be whole grains, the carbs, okay, whole grains, whole cereals, and the other half is divided into two. So whole grains and cereals, and then we have the proteins, and then the dairy at the top there. So if you eat like this, you are definitely going to increase your dietary fiber for the day, and that is going to end up giving you all the benefits dietary fiber will give you. Now, what do you do when you want to plan your meal? The goal is to plan your meal, okay? If you want to eat healthy diet. But what do you do? If you are planning your meal, first of all, you want to plan it, first of all, the diet. You want to consider the ingredients. You want to consider the preparation, the packaging, the serving, and where to eat it. A lot of times, people do the first 3 or 4, but where to eat is a problem. And they end up not eating that healthy thing they've prepared themselves. Okay, what are some of the things to avoid when you're planning your diet? You are supposed to avoid eating in between meals. A lot of times, you find people, eating in between meals. So if their meal time is between 6 a.m. to 12 noon, that's breakfast to lunch, you find them eating at 10 a.m. what you call finger foods, and they are mostly unhealthy foods, right? People also do comfort eating. So when they are sad, that is when they eat a lot. People also do, if you want to plan a healthy meal, you have to avoid starvation. So like I said, some people cook healthy food that they don't eat it, and they end up taking it back home, and that's the whole purpose of healthy eating is defeated. And the final thing is avoid binge eating. Some people, if they go for functions and they see food, oh my goodness, they will just munch on every little thing they can lay their hands on. And that is an eating disorder. If you find yourself doing that, I advise you see a dietitian for help or counseling. The other thing that I'm going to talk about is choice of healthy oils for food preparation, and it all falls under planning your meals. Now, for the healthy oils, you have a list on my right and a list on the left, which is the unhealthy one. So you can see clearly canola oil, olive oil, granite oil, sunflower oil, omega-3 oil, omega-5, omega-7 oils. These are the healthy oils. And then the one you are supposed to stay away from is the fatty meats, the food, fat, dairy products, butter, hard margarine, lard, coconut oil, palm oil. I'm sure a lot of you will have a lot of questions about the palm oil, which I would take at this moment. So at this moment, I'll pause briefly and I'll take all necessary questions that will come in.
Thank you very much for that brief presentation. You were right on time. So at this point, we're just going to take as many questions as possible. Those who have, I know most of us, let's go back to the myplate.gov. How many of us are even living according to this side? How many of us have half our plates filled with fruit and vegetables, and the other half filled with grains and protein? I think, Mr. Tufo, you should go on and give us example of how to plan our diet in a Ghanaian setting. Please go ahead and teach us what we should eat. Go ahead, please.
Right. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So a typical Ghanaian diet, for instance, if you are going to buy wache, which a lot of people like it. If you like wache, please put it to the comment section, wache. I know a lot of corporate workers eat wache for breakfast. Now, if you want to eat wache the healthy way, all right, first of all, you want to consider my plate. So on the plate of your pack or your bowl, which you eat the wache from, divide it into two. The first half should be vegetables. So by vegetables, I mean you can have a combination of cabbage, onion, carrot, lettuce, or cabbage, cucumber, onion, carrot, or cabbage, onion, or cucumber, onion, or lettuce, onion, cucumber. Any combination. It's not cast in stone. It's freestyle. Anyhow you want it, any vegetable that you prefer. should fill half of the plate. The other half of the plate should be further divided into half. That first quarter should have your wache, all right? So that's the carbohydrate. And then the other part should have your protein and your sauce. So whether the sauce, the tomato sauce, or the shito, and then your egg or your fish should fill the other quarter. So that's a typical example of how a Ghanaian should eat wache. And if you look at the next slide, it gives you a nice indication of some of these Ghanaian foods and how Ghanaians eat it. Okay, it's not our fault. Ghanaians eat a lot of carbohydrates, and it's because that is how we are socialized. Okay, food is culture. So what you saw culturally is how you eat, but unfortunately, it has some serious health implications and so on and so forth. Okay, so if you look at the picture down there, you can see, Dr. Sidi, are we on that slide? Yes, thank you. You can see the wache combination right there. The beans and the plantain. You can see beans filling half of the plate, plantain filling half of the plate. So using my plate, this beans plantain combination is wrong to start with, all right? Because he's eating half of his plate is filled with carbohydrates, all right? And that is wrong to start with. Let's look at the down one, the plantain with the contomere. Okay, so that one is a little bit better than the top one. All right, because we have contomere, but it doesn't, which is also vegetable, doesn't fill half of the plate. Okay, so that is something that we need to consider. And then the other one, we have jollof rice with tomato sauce and egg. Look at the quantity of jollof rice on the plate. That is how a lot of us eat. We eat the carbohydrates to fill us, and that is obviously wrong. Okay, so please, if you are someone here on this call, if you eat like this, you may want to take this advice. The other one, please, next slide, the next picture. You can see the wache combination I'm talking about. You don't need macaroni, you don't need gari on your wache. That is excessive carbohydrate consumption, all right? And this gari macaroni has some fat and oils in there because they put the oil from the tomato sauce onto it to color it or make it look nice and attractive, but you don't need all of that. Trust me, if you are a Ghanaian, if you are on this call, anywhere you are reaching us from, and you eat a lot of carbohydrates, if you manage to cut your carbohydrate intake to about half of what you eat right now, trust me, you see some amazing changes within your physiological makeup. All right, now the next one. Yes, you see the top left corner, a very beautiful picture of cheeseburger. So this one, there are serious implications to it. You can see the cheese oozing out from the burger, and that is actually something I don't recommend for anybody to even look at. All right. So this one gives you saturated fat, which can, at the end of the day, increase your risk of getting atherosclerosis, which is the blockage of your arteries, which thereby blocks blood flow or supply and can lead to hypertension, and also poorly controlled hypertension can lead to stroke. Now, look at the other picture on the side of the cheeseburger. You can see chicken, all right? Now, I want to recommend that if you want to eat any form of meat, you want to do white meat or meat that has little or no fat in it, all right? Now, the other one just beneath the cheeseburger is a picture of beef. Now, you can see some white thing moving inside the meat. It's like marbling, I call it the marble of the meat. These are fats, saturated fats, which can cause problems for you, just like the cheese will do for you, or cheese will do to you. And then the other picture next to the beef, you can see a combination of fish. Now, this fish, we have salmon, halibut, and codfish. They are white fish or white protein, lean protein. They contain little or no fat. And the fat in it is also good fat. They contain omega oils. And these are good for cardiovascular health. All right, next picture. Now, about what Dr. Sedinya asked me to touch on, this is how you may want to plan your meal, a typical Ghanaian diet. So if you look at the breakfast option, depending on what time you wake up, WHO's recommendation is that between 2 hours of waking up, you should have consumed your first meal of the day. So if you are someone who wakes up at 5 a.m., by 7:30 a.m., you should have consumed your first meal of the day. Okay, breakfast is the most important meal of the day because as you are asleep, you are starving and your body does not have any form of nutrition. So breakfast helps provide this nutrition for you to keep going. Lunch, you can have it in between 12 to 1 p.m. and then dinner can be between 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. So this one is not fixed for anybody. However, if you meet a dietitian or see a dietitian, you can make it tailor-made according to your nutritional needs, according to your energy requirements. Now, I want to talk about this thing. The unfortunate part is as we try to eat healthy, we end up consuming toxins in our diet. The toxins are toxins that we get from agrochemicals that are used to, cultivate these food items. I'm talking about maize, I'm talking about cassava, I'm talking about the farmer who cultivated cassava next to the cocoa farmer who used NPK. You all know NPK. NPK, sodium, potassium, I think phosphorus, potassium. It's a fertilizer. Now, if it rains heavily, some of these components of the potassium, what will leach into the cassava farmer's farm, and then it will go into the cassava. These are toxins, these are chemicals, these are synthetically made, okay? And they have consequences on our body. So, on that note, the recommendation is, next slide, please. You can have, next slide, please. Next slide. The recommendation is you can have one of this nutritional supplement that can help you deal with these toxins that you get from consuming food just by the fact that you want to eat healthy. The toxins from the food we eat can be cleared using one of these amazing health supplements, Food and Drugs Authority approved, known as the Celgivity. The other one here I want to talk about is the Max Fuse. This one is a nutritional supplement that contains a premium blend of micronutrients, which a lot of Ghanaians miss out on based on the way we eat. Most of the bulk of our food is carbohydrates, protein, fat. So we end up missing on these micronutrients, which are very essential for life processes, even though they are needed in minute quantities. Now, Max Fuse helps you get your daily supply of these micronutrients and then helps your body function adequately. For instance, for your body to be able to absorb iron, if you eat iron-rich food like fish, egg, dark green leafy vegetables, you need vitamin C in order to absorb this iron, okay? However, if you don't consume vitamin C-rich fruits from right after eating your main meal, you will not be able to get the iron that you deserve. And then the other product on my right-hand side, Max 357, trust me, if you're a woman on this call and you're not on Max 357, I recommend this for you. It has a premium blend of not just 1, but 3 omega oils. And omega oils, like I said earlier on, are oils that you get from the fish. It has been concentrated into this nice nutritional supplement for our daily consumption, our daily use. Now, it has a cardiovascular protective property. All right, Max 357 can protect the cardiovascular system, delay the onset of arteriosclerosis and all forms of cardiovascular disease. It also has some very good benefits for the skin, the nails, and the hair. And that's why every woman on this call, I recommend that you take Max 357. The men can also take it, so just for the women. If you're a woman here and you value your skin, okay, Max 357 will do the magic for you. So on that note, I would conclude by saying that primary, next slide, please. Go down, please. I'll conclude by saying the primary prevention is the most effective and affordable method of preventing chronic disease, and that dietary intervention positively impacts health outcomes across the lifespan. Dietitians are critical members of the healthcare team and are essential to delivering nutrition-focused preventive services in clinical and community settings, advocating for policy and programmatic initiatives leading to research in disease prevention and health promotion. Thank you so much for your time. I'm very grateful that you stayed till the end. At this moment, I'll hand it over to Dr. Sedon here for any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tufo. That was great. I must confess, I'm a culprit when it comes to not going by this one. I'm going back to that slide. This myplate.gov. Please, if you're on the chat, all right, And you and I know that you know, and you know that you know that when you are eating your gobe or your wache or your banku, your plate is not half filled with fruits and vegetables. Please put in the chat box culprit. Let us know ourselves so that we learn from this presentation. If you are a culprit like I am, in fact, Tufo once visited me at home, and when we gave him food, trust me, he did exactly this. All right, so he walks his talk. Please, if you are a culprit like I am, when it comes to eating food, my plate is mostly not filled with fruit and vegetables. I'm a culprit. If you are a culprit like I am, please humbly put culprit in a chat box and let us learn together from myplate.gov and know how to do that. I'm seeing a lot of people who are also culprit. Your plate is not filled with fruits and vegetables. You should come and see some of us, the balls of banku and kinky and all the things that we are eating. However, we are championing a campaign for preventive health. So the right things to do is what the expert has come to teach us. He's simply saying that when you take your food on your plate, you should have half of it as fruits and vegetables. You can argue it out morning, afternoon, evening. It won't change anything. You need to do it. I have to work on myself. You have to do the same as well. At this point, please feel free in the next few minutes. Feel free if you have any questions at all. Please feel free and put it in the chat box right now. I'm glad you recommended amazing products that people can use because of the toxins that are around us. The need for us to detoxify ourselves and keep ourselves well nourished. But the first question I have is coming from me to you, Mr. Tufo. Where is the place of snacks when it comes to our dieting? What is the place of snacks?
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Sedo here for your question. So talking about snack, where does it fit when you want to eat healthy? So in between meals, there's something we call mid-morning snack, all right? And the snack, I'm not talking about meat pie, I'm not talking about these pastries, I'm not talking about fried plantain chips, like which a lot of people on this call like. No, I'm talking about healthy snacks. And healthy snacks, there's only one go-to source of healthy snacks, and these are fruits. Easy to eat, easy to carry around you or carry in your bag or your pocket. You can have just one small piece of tangerine, like I had before this call, in your pocket. I mean, when you are going for a presentation or a meeting, you can just excuse yourself, peel this orange and consume it. And that's all you need. You don't even need three of that. You can have 2 fingers banana, you can have 1 medium-sized orange, 1 medium-sized apple, 1 wedge watermelon, 1 medium-sized, half medium-sized mango, or the 2 small ones, the local mango. And that's all you need for your serving of snack per day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question that a lot of people will ask is, what is the role of drinking water whilst eating? Is it advisable from your expert point of view? It's a very general thing that a lot of people have varying views on. What do you say as the expert? What do you say about drinking water whilst eating? What do you say? Is it advisable?
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Selia, for this question too. Drinking water whilst eating and after eating. Now, there's a different school of thought on this. Some say that when you drink water whilst you are eating, it slows down digestion process because the digestive juices will get diluted when you drink water. But from my expert point of view or opinion, you do not have any issues when you drink water whilst you are eating because most of the chemical reaction in the body takes place in an aqueous medium, and that means it happens in water. And therefore, if you drink water whilst you are eating, there's no issue about that.
Thank you very much. Now, anyone who has a question, please put in the chat box right now. In the next few minutes, feel free, put a question in the chat box. All questions will be duly answered. Please put in the chat box. I've asked 2 major questions that a lot of people ask. All right, so put in a chat box. All right, put in a chat box. He's answered the question expertly. If you are eating and drinking, there's nothing wrong with it. There's something called homeostasis. Your body will always find ways of correcting itself when there's an imbalance. All right, and of course, digestion needs that aqueous medium he talked about. And moreover, just anecdotally, have you ever, if you are eating yakayake or eto or something that can if you are eating that kind of food and it gets, if you don't drink water, you see what you will see. Do you understand? So there's nothing wrong with drinking water whilst eating. If you are eating yakayaki, very dry one, you will see if you don't drink water appropriately. So I drink water in between meals, no problem at all. So please put your questions in the chat box. If you have any questions you want him to answer for you with regards to dieting, with regards to preventive health when it comes to diet. Or I put your questions. Okay, somebody has a question. Okay, Professor Dolak Banu is asking why coconut oil and palm nut oils are classified unhealthy oil. He wants to know more about it.
Thank you very much, Prof, for this wonderful question. Also, when we talk about coconut oil and palm oil classified as unhealthy oil, I remember I mentioned during the presentation that I know a lot of you will have questions about this one. Yes, coconut oil, palm oil are unhealthy oil because they are a good source of saturated fat. All right. If you want to test this by the traditional approach, you may want to set a bottle of coconut oil in your kitchen or your dining area, room temperature. I mean, the oil will solidify at room temperature. As simple as that. And that is evidence that it is saturated fat. Fats are solid at room temperature, oils are liquid at room temperature. And that's why olive oil, even in a refrigerator, will stay liquid. And for that reason, I mean, it will always be a polyunsaturated, monounsaturated fatty oil. Thank you.
That question was it was answered the right way. So fats are solids at room temperature. Oils remain liquid at room temperature. No questions asked again. Agbena, we drop the mic. Thank you very much. Put more of your questions in the chat. Is it good to take juice when eating in the night? Is it good to take juice?
Okay, yeah. So when eating at night, let's say your dinner, let's say between 5:30 to 7 o'clock p.m. You're eating, let's say, rice with tomato sauce with your half plate filled with vegetables and then your fish. Yes, you can have fruit juice alongside with it, all right? But I recommend that you do actual fruit juice, not the ones that are processed in the Tetra packs, all right? These ones, they use fruit concentrates and they are not actual juice, all right? So please go for the actual juice. You can prepare it yourself, all right? And use your own juicer to make your orange juice and then have it alongside with your main meal. It contains vitamin C, it helps with iron absorption and other micronutrients, which will also help with absorption. Okay.
Great. So yes, you can take the fruit juice, but the best is to go to the fruit yourself, not the chemicalized one. That's what we are trying to avoid. Too much chemicals in the food we eat, the air we breathe, and the water we drink. Too much chemicals that we are overloading our system. Our kidneys are crying, and of course, too much burden on our system. Any more questions, please put in the chat box. I'm glad the questions that are coming are very intellectual. This is where you need expert knowledge, not just anybody. You don't argue plenty. You get a fact right, you are good to go. Please put your questions in the chat box. Every question will be answered. We have some few more minutes to go. Thank you very much, Mr. Tufo, so far for the amazing education. Any more questions, please put in the chat box quickly. Any more questions? Yeah, so I just came back to this slide because I also had some questions to ask, but it's all been answered, especially the healthy oils and then the unhealthy oils. No questions asked. If it's healthy, it's a healthy oil. It will remain what? Liquid at room temperature. If it is fatty, too much, saturated fat, it will become hard, solid at room temperature. You just test it in your kitchen and you are good to go. The next test is you put olive oil in the fridge, it remains liquid. That is great. That comes from a little clarification on the coconut and palm oil. Someone wants to know a little clarification. Christina wants to know a little clarification more on the coconut and palm oil. This is what most of us eat. So please clarify for us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So Christina, about the coconut oil, the clarification is that coconut oil, just like palm oil, is a good source of saturated fat. And what that simply means is that it will solidify at room temperature. Saturated fat also has the tendency to increase your LDL cholesterol level when you consume them, all right? The body obtains cholesterol from two sources, dietary intake and then the one that is being synthesized by the body itself. So what you can do to prevent, or what you can do to reduce or prevent the onset of dyslipidemia or high levels of cholesterol, bad cholesterol in your body, is to make sure your diet contains healthy oils only. And coconut oil and palm oil are saturated fat. The degree of saturation is so high that when you put it on your shelf in the kitchen, it will solidify at room temperature. The same way it solidifies at room temperature, that is the same way it behaves when it goes into your system. And that is the reason why coconut oil is classified as healthy oils or healthy fats.
Somebody is asking, what about palm kernel oil?
All right, thank you so much. So palm kernel oil, just like coconut oil, just like palm oil itself. The oils from the palm. A friend of mine is a pharmacologist, actually doing his PhD in the US. He actually taught that all plant-based oil is supposed to be healthy oil. I said, well, it's actually almost true, but for coconut oil and palm oil. Other than that, I would have just said all plant-based oils are healthy source of oils. So just like palm kernel oil, just like coconut oil, they are all classified as unhealthy source of oils.
All right. So somebody is asking, between fried egg and boiled egg, which one would you advise?
Fantastic. I love this question. Thank you so much, Mr. Theophilus Lamptey. Between fried egg and boiled egg, which one is good for our health? I will always advise, from my point of view as an expert, to go for boiled egg, simply because when you fry egg, you incorporate oil in there. And then what the oil will do is it will increase your calorie levels, your calorie that you consume. Okay, if you boil the egg, there's no oil in there. If you fry it, you put oil. That means you're consuming more calories. Now, take it as this: 1 gram of carbohydrate contains 4 kilocalories of energy, whilst 1 gram of oil contains 9 kilocalories of energy. So if you are using oil to prepare your food or fry your egg, you are likely going to get more calories from it. And at the end of the day, if the calories exceed your expenditure, the rest will be stored as fat in your adipose tissue that will end up bringing more problems and issues to your general health.
All right. The question is, when you are working late and you are hungry, can you snack on fruits?
Okay. Yeah, I think, yes, that's a very good one. When you are working late and you're hungry, you do not want to go for food that takes a longer time to digest, because very soon you'll be going to bed, or you'll be retiring to bed easily or soon. Therefore, you need foods that can digest easily, and fruits are a good source of food that digests easily. So that would be a very good choice to go for.
Somebody's also asking, cream cracker, is it safe to snack on because it doesn't have sugar?
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Yinka Steven, for your question. So snacking on crackers. Basically, remember I mentioned that when you want to eat food, eat real foods. Eating real foods puts you in the position of getting all the benefit that you can get from eating real food, including consuming dietary fiber. If you eat cracker, there's nothing like dietary fiber in there. Let me tell you some benefits of dietary fiber. Dietary fiber helps reduce the effect of LDL cholesterol, bad cholesterol in your blood. If you eat orange and you throw the fiber, the chaff inside, if you throw it away, chances are you are not going to get any fiber. However, if you eat orange and you consume that fiber, this fiber, when it gets into your blood, can help escort bad cholesterol from your blood to places where it can be synthesized out of the body. Therefore, you need to increase your dietary fiber intake. And the reason why you do not need to be eating simple carbohydrates like crackers, which is made from flour or flour product, and that has no fiber in it. So please go for real food, real snacks, okay? And that is the way to go.
Okay, so there's a question. If coconut and palm kernel oils are unhealthy because they solidify at room temperatures, how then do we describe oils that cannot solidify at freezing temperatures?
Healthy oils, as simple as that. They are the healthy oils.
Yeah, so all right. Any more questions, please? So we've concluded on the healthy and unhealthy oils. Like, it's clear. Let's go back to see which ones are healthy, which ones are not healthy. These are the expert knowledge. Olive oil is healthy. Canola oil is healthy. Groundnut oil is there. It's very healthy. Soybean oil, very healthy. Sunflower oil is very healthy. The omega oils, omega 3, omega 5, omega 7 oils from fish. It's from fish, from source. Very healthy. And if we recount clearly what he told us about this issue here, this slide is also very important. He asked us and told us to avoid red meat and go towards fish. If you are going to eat meat, go for the white meats. And if you can afford, go for more of fish, salmon, and the rest, which are very great. Any more question? Any more question? Please put in the chat box. Let's help. Is it good to snack on ice kenke? The culprits we are talking.
Thank you very much for the question. Yes, ice kenke, depending on your combination. So ice kenke may be good, at the same time may be bad, depending on what you are putting in your ice kenke or the quantity of kenke you are mashing. Assuming you are mashing like 3 balls of kenke, you are putting about 1 soup ladle of table sugar, okay, in your ice kenke. That's a lot of carbohydrate. That's a lot of sugar, okay, and that may not be too good for you, depending on your nutritional energy requirements, okay, or nutritional status. So ice kenke, like I said, may be good if you probably are talking about one ball of kenke, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and then let's say 2 tablespoons of low-fat milk. Trust me, and some peanuts. Ice kenke is perfect snack, and it can even serve as a main meal because it has your carbohydrates, it has your fat, it has your protein, and it has some amount of micronutrients in there. So yes, ice kenke serves as a good snack.
Okay, someone is asking, please throw more light on which meat is red meat and which is white meat. I joined late. I must have missed that part. Yes, so to be fair to everybody, we'll share the recording so that you can watch it again, please, so that we don't delay everybody. The next question says, please, coconut, wheat flour, banana bread, which one is good or healthy? Coconut.
Okay.
Flour.
Okay.
Yeah, bread, the breads.
Okay. Yeah, so coconut bread, wheat bread, flour bread, banana bread. If I understand the question very well, which one is good for our health? Yes. Between these two, if I'm supposed to choose one, I'll choose banana bread, and then the second one will be wheat bread, and then the other 2 I won't go for it. Reason is that coconut chips or coconut whatever they use to make coconut bread contains the oil. It's from the coconut seed we make the coconut oil. So if you eat coconut chips, the dry ones, the to be you are likely going to get your saturated fat in there. Okay, so remember we said coconut oils are not good. And once you are eating dry coconut seeds, you are definitely going to get the saturated oil from it. So that's something I wouldn't recommend for you.
All right, for those of us who joined late, please, we'll be sharing the recording. It's on my YouTube link, Dr. Albesedo here. You can go and play back and get what you need to get. And there's a question, a very important question. Blood groups and choice of food. Is there any link? Please tell us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Frumpon. This question I've been getting it a lot and a lot and a lot. Yes, blood group and food. There is no strong evidence that suggests that the food you eat affects your blood group in any way possible. All right. I hear it a lot. Some people say when you're O positive, you cannot eat red meat, or you cannot eat white fish, or you cannot eat maize product or maize food. You cannot eat benku kenke and all those things. It's not true. I mean, the evidence is not strong enough. And as a dietitian, what we do is evidence-based practice. What has gone through strong research has been peer-reviewed by qualified personnel or people in the area or in the field of academia. And we can all testify to it that based on the methodology this research paper went through, if you repeat it again and again and again in 1,000 years, you get the same results. These are strong papers or strong papers that suggest or give strong evidence. So far, there's no paper that gives such a strong evidence, and for that reason, we do not recommend or say anything about blood group and then their dietary intake.
So there's no link between blood group and the kind of food you eat. If you are blood group A, B, or O, please feel free, eat healthy food. Eat healthy, all right? Eat healthy. Someone is asking, why is it that the oils don't solidify at room temperature, but the fats, the non-healthy ones, solidify at room temperature? Somebody is asking why.
Okay, thank you so much. So the reason why oils does not solidify at room temperature, but fat does, is that oils does not contain double bond in their chemistry structure. Okay, so the degree of saturation is very, very low. And when the degree of saturation is low, it doesn't form the kinks. It's called something called kinks. Once the kink doesn't form, it doesn't solidify. All right. However, the fats at the other side have a lot of double bonds in their chemical structure, and that contributes to the formation of kinks, and that contributes to solidification at room temperature. Simple as
all right. So the question he's answering like scientifically, double bonds in that one. Please just know that it doesn't do it. Oils remain oils, liquid at room temperature. Fats or unhealthy oils become solid at room temperature. Somebody is asking, is it safe to air fry your food instead of using the oil? Is it safe?
Is it safe if to air fry your food instead of using oil? Yes. Dr. Sedia, thank you so much. And thanks to whoever brought this question. Yes, it's safe to air fry your food instead of using oil. However, if you will ever use oil to fry, opt for pan frying, not deep fat frying or deep oil frying, or what we probably call from catering school, deep frying. All right. So pan frying means that you're using just a little oil to coat the surface of the pan, which you'll be frying whatever you're frying from. All right. A little oil, by that I mean 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon of oil. Okay. So if you do pan frying, you're likely not going to have a lot of the oil going into the food you're preparing. Okay. For example, if you pour a bottle of cooking oil into your hot pan and you fry food with it, chances that if the oil cool down, you transfer it to your bottle, you won't get a full bottle. All right, you won't get a full bottle. That tells you that oil goes right into the food. So that's the reason why you need to do pan frying instead of deep fat frying as much as possible. And then the air frying is perfect. Trust me. I'll always go for air frying if I can.
Temperature water. Which one would you advise? Cold water or normal room temperature water?
Cold water, normal room temperature water depends on your area.
So again,
temperate ranges.
Strong link between it at all. You can drink cold water, you can drink normal room temperature. Your body will take care of it once it goes inside of you. It's about preference. Again, there is no evidence that when you drink cold water, you're going to have this or that. No, there's no. Somebody says he like eating roasted groundnuts. That one, if you have any health issue, the first point of call is the hospital. All right. Thank you very much. We've had a lot of time here. What food contribute to arthritis? No, we cannot have any food that links strongly to arthritis. No, arthritis, I explained last week. You can go and watch last week's video on my channel, Dr. Albesedo here, how arthritis comes about, what it means when somebody has arthritis. I explained it last week. It's on my channel on YouTube, Dr. Albesedo here. Thank you very much, Mr. Dufour. We had amazing questions about drinking water in between meals, about blood group and the choice of food, and about a lot of questions that has popular people always have their views, but most of them are not expertise. All right, so thank you very much for your time. Is there any last question anyone would like to ask? I saw Madam Julia Akoli's hand up. Madam Julia Akoli, your hand has been up. I don't know if you have any question. Put in the chat box. 10 seconds so that we can excuse everybody. Thank you very much, Mr. Tufo, for spending time with us. We know we went a little, but it's just to give opportunity to as many people to have their questions freely answered. So Mr. Tufo clearly recommended great supplements. Enfuse has amazing vitamins and minerals for your own health. Omega-3, 5, and 7 oils are in this particular product. And because of too much toxins and in our system these days, to detoxify your system, a great supplement which I use myself personally with my family. Even today, I sent a box of this to my grandfather who is in his late 90s in the village. I sent him a box of Saujiviti. Why? Because he needs to keep himself healthy. He needs to boost his immune system. And this comes very handy. Saujiviti, very good for that. There are a lot of supplements on the market, but these are the ones I endorse. These are the ones our senior dietitian uses and endorses and recommends to people as well. So Cellgivity Max 357 Infuse, great product, great product. Okay, Madam Julia say her question has been answered. Great. So on that note, I want to say a special thank you once again to Mr. David Tufo, and of course to every single one of you on the call. Every one of you on the call for spending time with us from beginning till now. Until next week, where we're going to have another expert sharing expert knowledge. We're going to have surgeons, all right? This just to let you know this. We're going to have surgeons, physician specialists, neurosurgeons. We're going to have public health specialists. We're going to have ENT surgeons on the call. We're going to have, it's a holistic health approach. You know, health is about physical, mental, and social well-being. We're going to talk about mental health as well as the weeks go by. I have all the experts lined up, and as time goes, I will be unveiling all of them. I work in Kolebo as a specialist, and I have cohort of friends that are in the field who are willing to contribute freely to our knowledge base. Now we know from the expert the right knowledge. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all of you for joining. Next week, same time, till we meet again. It's been a pleasing pleasure serving you all. Let's enjoy our evening wherever we find ourselves.